So I'm a big property rights person. I'm a big voluntarist. If you voluntarily choose to have money stolen from you by a New York landlord that refuses to allow you to cook life-giving protein, that's on you. Yeah. And I have no sympathy for you, and I have certainly no sympathy for the broker or the landlord who are going to be miserable for the remainder of their lives having to remind everybody the benefits of being vegan. So, I mean, here's the thing, man. I've got vegan friends, and my vegan friends are great. They don't do the trope of constantly talking about their veganness whenever I'm around them. What they will do, though, it is the most passive-aggressive thing that my friend Miranda does to me. And I love Miranda. Miranda and I have been friends for about 5 years. One of the funniest women I've ever met in my life. She teaches special needs kids how to swim. Isn't that one of God's own?
That is seriously good
such an
person.
amazing job, right? She will do the most passive-aggressive thing where she will say to me, let's go out to dinner with our mutual friends. And I'll go, great. Where do you want to go? And she goes, I'll go anywhere as long as it's got vegan stuff there. And I'll go, okay, well, why don't you pick the place and then I'll meet you there. And you know what it always is, Spike? Always an exclusively vegan restaurant. Every time it's the most passive-aggressive thing that she does, and I have no idea why she does it. I try to make inroads and meet in the middle.
Sure.
I say, pick a place that has vegan stuff. And she goes, great. And then we go to an exclusively vegan
Do you have
restaurant.
Jimmy John delivered to the table when she does that to you?
No, it's just like
a big steak and cheese right there on the table for her.
We go to these like restaurants, and they always have fake meat, and they always have everything that I don't want.
Right.
And it's just like, why am I? Mexican food requires beef and or chicken, right?
Yes. Some pork.
Right. Asada y pollo is what I want. Bienvenidos. And when I walk in there and it's like tofu strips that have chicken seasoning on it, it's like I would rather not eat, right?
I wonder if your friend suffers from the same thing the landlord in New York is, because they can't even smell meat without being physically upset. Their stomach gets physically upset. And this lady in New York, they've owned this building since 2007. Okay. They've never allowed meat cooking in the building. I'm not sure it's made the story because nowadays, and those real estate prices, those are crazy even for New York. I've seen there's a link in the story in the New York Times. There's a link to the realtor who's showing the listings, and they're gorgeous. I mean, they are gorgeous apartments.
They are nice apartments.
Yeah, but one of them's 850 square feet. For $5,400 a month, and you're not allowed to cook in it. Yeah, and they say you can bring in meat and fish foods that you didn't cook at home because the owner lives in the top floor. And they don't want to smell the meat or fish being cooked and permeating the building.
I guarantee you that lady's making it up. This is 100% that rich lady syndrome, where she has invented an affliction, kind of like people who say that they're allergic to electricity. This is someone who has invented a symptom, or she has did you ever hear about Carl Jung? Okay, so when Carl Jung was a child, he had terrible anxiety, and one of the ways that he would, I'm talking about Carl Jung, the psychologist.
Yeah, the psychologist, Jung.
So he started doing this thing as a child where he would faint when he had anxiety, but it was to garner sympathy from the people around him, and because he couldn't verbalize the way that he actually felt, the anxiety that he felt. So he would fake fainting. After doing this for several years, he all of a sudden would just spontaneously start fainting when he became nervous or anxious, even when he didn't want to, because he had coached his brain up to having that somatic response to stimuli.
Okay.
This lady has done the same thing. This lady has done the thing where rather than being a cool vegan like my friend Miranda, she is saying to herself, even the idea or the concept of meat being cooked makes me sick. This is somebody who is basically created a phobia or a malady out of whole cloth, so that when she's drinking Chardonnay with her friends on Fifth Avenue, she can be like, "Oh, I can't even stand the smell. I'll just I'm super vegan. I'm vegan level 9,000. I don't eat anything that casts a shadow." You know what I mean? Like, this is the type of.
So you pony up the $57.50 a month to rent 90 South Oxford Street in Brooklyn, and
Right.
you're sitting and you're abiding by her guidelines, and you say to your significant other, "Hey, man, how about a nice big steak for dinner tonight?" And all of a sudden, you hear a body drop upstairs as she faints herself into oblivion and hits the floor. Oh, I guess we're not going to do that.
I would be making tomahawk steaks 7 days out of the week if I lived there. And every time she was like, "Pardon me, I do believe I smell meat," I'd be like, "I ordered it. I didn't cook it. I ordered it.
Yeah, brought it
Sorry."
in. Had it brought in. See the
I had
DoorDash
this-
guy out front?
Yeah, had this $145 tomahawk steak brought in, and tomorrow we're having 5A Wagyu, right?
Having it brought in. Yeah.
Having it brought in. I would get a meat decanter that was just this baby back ribs, and I would get 3 dozen of them and put them all around my house just to make that woman suffer. That's what I would do. It's Chili's, baby back ribs.
I love them.
That's what I would say.